Hello, and good morning. Alright, so, feeling mostly better. Gotta say, this annoying disease is just a pain in the everything. But at any rate, feeling well enough to try and put out one of these, see how it goes. So, changes since last time, mostly just different kinds of setups on people. So first off, Furio here got a pike. She's still as she was, just figure she can be more of a caster. Ran into a little bit of money issues and didn't feel like running back into town, so, you know, they're a little bit all over the place as far as their equipment goes. Lavitz here is going for a defensive setup. Voltaire's going for a two-hander setup. All things considered, it's kind of weird, the discrepancy between their stats, because just Voltaire seems better at everything. So, not sure what that's all about. But, oh well. Sorry. Bit of a cough still. But anyway, so Spencer's going to do what he's been doing the whole time. Archers are still the same. Casters are still the same. Healers are still pretty much the same. And this is a new member. This is Sir Biceps. So he's going to be the heavy axe guy. Or the super heavy axe guy. And then I believe I put a couple fights into the rookies here, so they actually can join in now. Bayan is still a little bit on the useless side at the moment, but that's fine. Okay, so Zaid Moors, I believe this is the zombie fight. So go ahead and go double healers. Probably don't need as many spears for this one. Terror Knights are fine. I'll probably leave the fencers behind. Go for maybe 2 archers. You know what? I think we'll leave Voltaire behind and give Mr. Biceps here a go. And let's see how this goes. Okay, not the fight I thought it was. And yes, it is Fancy Pants. You have found Fancy Pants. So this is easier than the one that I thought it was. It's Mr. Felnatore, who I believe you can find at Karitanai a couple of times in a couple of the other routes. Might be wrong on that though. Anyway, he seems to have brilliantly forgotten to bring along a healing element, so he should not be a problem. Just have Bayan sit along over here and collect his XP. So our Biceps will go up first. Yeah, I think this is just going to be more of a deal with them as they come type of situation. With 2 healers, there should be no problems at all. Sorry for the random pauses, just chugging some more chamomile here, trying to suppress that annoying cough. But it is how it goes. Yeah, one got through anyway. It is annoying. So, you know what? Turns out, it wasn't a friggin' cold, wasn't a friggin' flu. It was viral bronchitis and conjunctivitis. Of all friggin' whatever situation that is. Which is basically why the stupid thing has gone for more than a week now. I remembered my mute button. That's going to be pretty handy this time around. And since it's not Xenonauts, I can actually see when my mute button's working. Actually, funnily enough, that mute button got an entire silent episode last time. Anyway. Like I was trying to say. It turns out that, yeah, if you get the viral version, it's like just weirdly specifically stuck at exactly 7 to 10 days, they said. It's a... I don't know. I don't know how it can be so weirdly specific, but hey. I guess that's just how long the germs live. Who knows? Who knows? But, yeah. I guess it actually was not because of my relative, or actually, funnily enough, it was because of a relative, a different relative. Because here's the funny situation, right? So, I end up, so, during this baby party thing, a little over a week ago now, I figure it's the person that came with a mask that had caused the thing. Turns out, it actually was somebody else that had come a couple days earlier. As in, there was one other person that had the exact same thing, just sort of showed up to the apartment for a few seconds, grabbed some stuff, and left. Because, I do babysitting for them. Well, at any rate, so, it turns out it was that, and apparently I ended up catching it, 20 feet away somehow, because, they came in coughing. Figured, okay, I just got over another sickness, I'm going to be way the hell over here. But, yeah, what ends up happening instead is apparently I somehow caught it from that distance. But then, apparently I guess their kid had this eye thing, which apparently I ended up getting somehow while cleaning out their eyes. It never even occurred to me, I just thought they had stuff in their eyes and that was it. But it turns out, yeah, it was this whole virus thing. Well, would have been good to know to be careful for that kind of stuff, but alright. Doesn't really matter. They didn't really mean anything by it, so I love how the guy with really good odds ends up completely missing here, and the one with really bad odds ends up getting a crit instead. Good stuff. And there's going to be so many on and off clicky noises this time. Should be good and irritating. Interestingly, I've seen a lot more people popping in lately. Not sure what that's all about. At first I thought it was a bunch that were coming in to see just how hard the XDiv run was going to fail. But seems like there's a lot of interest all over the place. Wonder if it's that whole discovery period people talk about. Which would be interesting. It'd be nice to, have this actually give something. It's basically just a little side hobby. But yeah, let's see. Enough personal stuff. What's new in mod news? I don't know if I mentioned it in this one, but apparently there's going to be some changes to familiars coming up. So that's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if that means he's adding familiars to people classes, or giving mosquitoes access to, well, people classes. So I don't know which way he's actually going with that. Seemed to intentionally want to tease it, so we'll see how that ends up going. I'm sure whatever way it is, it'll be awesome. Just because I've never seen an update that hasn't been awesome. Okay. You get your 100%. Finish this one off. Hopefully. Yes. Alrighty. Let's probably get... yeah, full crit, definitely. It's nice to see that the beef up in HP for Berserkers is much more notable now. I'm not sure whether I just didn't notice it before, or if it really was lower before. But it certainly feels like they have a lot more health to work with now. Yeah, he's definitely going with that heavy axe. Figure, before dedicating to heavies or slows, always made me want to have one of the others. So, figure gonna have one, one heavy, one normal. Seems like the way to do it. What do I think of it? I should probably turn the volume up, shouldn't I? It's one thing that keeps coming up. It's always so quiet. Okay. Have you go over here. Oh crap, he's about to roast biceps. Welp. So much for that whole plan of him just crushing the boss there. Didn't realize he was going to pull 100 on him. But that's what I get. Should have paid attention to the positioning of those backcasters. Let's pull him up to pull the Spellblades closer. Alright, that's all nifty that you're all fast like, but can I get a turn now? I mean, you're already taking my stuff, so... You know, it would just be awful courteous of you to let me have a move. Can you finish this one? Not quite. Probably just plink off him. Perfect. Sorry about that. I did not mean to turn the button back on yet. It's kind of crashed into it. Oh man, this is going to be an annoying episode. Sorry. Just wanted to put one out there, dang it. Okay. Let's drop a Fearful on this guy. Maybe it'll do something. And you just don't even move. You stay there. For a second there, I think I might have had a Tulwar. But alas, no Tulwar in that guy. I don't know why I don't have Fearful Impact on her. There's been a couple fights now that I've noticed that I didn't. I'm pretty sure she should have the points. No matter, I think I already bought it on her, too. Are you within range? Just. Perfect. Dick. That is just really annoying. He's got only a little bit left. Lost our heaviest hitter. Yeah. Pretty sure the run's not dying here, but we're gonna have to evac a couple people and or might have to take a loss or two. Whoa, what? Okay, I don't know what just happened exactly. For some reason my PPSSPP just friggin' turned gigantic. Also, that sounds dirty when I say it that way. Okay. Definitely Aegis for you. Alright, survive. Survive! I was gonna say, when's Donalto's next turn? Feels like it's been an hour and a half since he last moved. Okay. So, Fulkert should be fine now. Dude, that caster needs to go. Screw that guy, for real. Like, he's just going along, throwing hundreds around. That's just unacceptable. Cat, why are you biting me? Why? Why now? Alright, can you finish this a-hole, please? Good. Oh, that's one more annoyance dealt with. This cat is just over here gnawing on my arm for whatever reason. Cat, have I ever told you you're a weirdo? Also, don't want to chance this at a lower percentage. I really want that guy gone. By the way, one more useful AI manipulation trick that seems to work pretty reliably. If you move somebody just within a caster's range, like if they're the only one within that range, you can usually just get them to do something like what happened there, where they'll end up just throwing whatever at whoever's within range and walking away. Just because they'll end up preferring the safe route in most cases. So, it's worthwhile. Okay. Yeah, she'll probably be within range of that guy. Okay. Just. Come on, nail the 88%. Good. You know, if this was XCOM, she would have missed. To be fair, I've seen people missing 98% in this, too, so I feel like they use similar RNG. Alright. Dude, really? What does everyone have against Folkert? Let the poor guy live. So I swear, every time that I don't have OBS on, just nobody ever even looks at the guy, and then as soon as a video starts, they're like, oh god, everyone's got to kill Folkert right now. Just immediately, he's never allowed to live. Alright, cat, stop biting me. What is your problem? Just like over here eating me. It's weird. Alright, as much as I want him to get XP, I don't want to worry about sending somebody back later, so... Okay. Yes, cat, you are adorable. That hurts, though. Stop. Okay. So they're gonna keep feeding him drugs. Yeah, I think we'll end up having to evac Folkert as well. I don't know, I feel like, as far as blessing stones are concerned, I feel like it would be nice to have them in the store, but ridiculously expensive. Like 10 grand or something. Or maybe not, I don't know, maybe just... I guess they're kind of nice in their current drop-only situation. So maybe not. Okay. Nice 49%. This cough is the most annoying thing in the world. Well, Aside from maybe finances in general. Yeah, I don't know how we haven't come up with something better than just money, as far as general financial stuff goes. I'm sure there has to be some less exploitable, less something version in the future. Like maybe once they end up creating supercomputers that can actually like judge what people really need and what they've done and stuff like that. Also, this guy is the master of odds, I must say. So over here, I'm like, nope. 70 to 80% might as well be 0. Something tells me that as soon as I go and like re-watch this and re-listen to it, I'm immediately going to want to redo it. We'll see. Alright, let's get Sistina fixed up. Probably finish him off or hurt her. Yeah, definitely finish him. Thankfully, he hurt himself just enough earlier. Alright. Let's get you out of range. And getting rid of her. You two shall become a bag. It's the fate of everyone. It's probably a waste of points and recovery time, but oh well. Alright. Oh, by the way, another cool thing I found out. So the weird smushiness of the sprites and whatever else that was happening, apparently, they expected PPSSPP to be run, in a bigger window than I'm used to. So I expanded the window size, and it actually really cleared up the picture a lot. So, yeah, that's good to know for the future. So if you're running into that weird smushy thing, just make your window bigger, and it'll stretch it out accordingly. It's, I guess it's just trying to do a higher resolution on a smaller thing and doesn't know how to or something? Yeah. That's basically, like, medieval Europe in a nutshell right there. Yeah, it's actually an interesting thing, like, even when it came down to rules like chivalry, back in the day, it basically was always coming down to just whatever lord at the time ended up viewing as, whatever the lord in question ended up viewing as, his take on the whole chivalry thing, just because it was a pretty loose set of guidelines. So, anyway, I just found that kind of interesting. Just like, you could have two people basically going to war over the exact same set of rules. Just because one of them read it a little differently. So basically exactly what's going on with religious stuff. Pretty much always. Fun stuff as far as that's concerned. And or, I guess, what's happening in the US with constitutional stuff. Pretty much always. But yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about with that, basically we constantly have this whole back and forth over, and like, oh, that Constitution says this thing. No, this exact same thing says this thing, because there's always people going and taking certain bits out of context to make it serve whatever they need it to, which gets really disingenuous really fast. But there's usually enough people wanting to accomplish a certain thing for whatever reason that they just, they end up banding together and pulling it off anyway. So, like, for example, the gun thing that comes up all the time, right? That I've heard people hearing about even overseas. So, basically, way back in the day, like when it was still a bunch of different colonies and whatnot, when it ended up turning into the states, there was basically every state had its own standing militia of sorts. It wasn't an army, but at any point they basically were, they had a militia that they could go call up and go do whatever. So they would end up fighting amongst each other. They would end up fighting against native tribes. They would fight with those same tribes against their neighbors, and it was a whole fustercluck of everyone's fighting for land all over the place. So when they basically had agreed to government, really, basically the whole thing was just they want a government, or certain people are realizing the practicality of a government, but the people that are there, or the local governments and whatnot, are saying, we basically came over here and started this whole thing to get away from a big government. We don't want one. So ultimately what ended up happening is that they were allowed to have a provision in there that said, you are still allowed to have your militias. So every state is allowed to have a small militia of sorts to just, protect their own interests, do their own stuff. They're like, okay, whatever. You have your little army there. And then at some point in the 70s, somebody came along and basically was going and arguing over whether that meant an individual could, which, it basically directly says in the thing, a well-regulated militia kind of thing. But yeah, that ended up leading to a whole bunch of stupid crap. Let's just say that, long story short, it was like a weird halfway law in the first place that, it somehow got turned into individuals get to have guns all the time by somebody a little while ago, and now any attempt to change that is basically saying, oh, you're trying to get rid of our rights or whatever. And I don't know if they actually revised the law itself to say that, or if they're intentionally only cutting out that snippet of it. Because I want to say they didn't actually change the law. It was just an understanding of it based off one judge from the 70s or something, that one guy was allowed to do something or other. I don't know, it's been a minute, and the cough medicine isn't helping with all this. Well, at any rate, hopefully this wasn't the most annoying part in the world, and hopefully we'll be done with this annoying cough situation by next time. So see you then.